Hola, estudiantes. So today I'm going to go over a slideshow with you guys that talks about how you guys can meet other people in another country if they're Spanish-speaking people. So the first thing is when you meet somebody, you might want to say hola. Hola is a great way to just say hello or hi, how are you? Next we have buenos dias, good day. You'd probably say that in the morning. So buenos dias would be any time up until about noon. Then you can say buenas tardes. That would be like 1 o'clock to maybe 5 o'clock. That means good afternoon. Buenas tardes. And lastly, we have good night. And after, say, 5 or 6 o'clock, you're going to want to say buenas noches. Now, if you want to ask these people how you're doing, you might want to say ¿Cómo estás? But you could also say ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Is, hey, how are you? And ¿Qué tal? Is, hey, how's it going? So realistically, they're about the same thing. It's like, how are you? How's it going? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Qué tal? The last one you guys can use is ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa means what's up? So if you wanted to say to somebody, hey, what's going on, man? ¿Qué pasa? But they aren't going to answer back with like good or bad. They're going to say like, not much. So be aware of the difference between ¿Qué pasa? And ¿Cómo estás? Eventually, they're going to want to say goodbye to these people. So you could say adios, or you could say ciao. Either way works well. Spain, it's very common to say ciao because adios feels a lot more final. It's like goodbye forever. But either way is totally fine. There are also 4 ways you can say see you later or see you at another time with the word hasta. Remember, H is not pronounced in Spanish. This is hasta luego, which means see you later. Now in Spain, it's very, very common to say hasta luego, but they kind of mumble through it. So they'd say hasta luego. And that's the most common way to say goodbye for them in Spain. Hasta mañana, that's see you tomorrow, but that's only if you know you're going to see the person the next day. You could say hasta pronto, if you know that you're going to see them very soon, perhaps even in that same day. And lastly, you could say hasta la vista, which probably a lot of you have heard from the movie Terminator, where Arnold Schwarzenegger goes, hasta la vista, baby. But that's less common. The last one you might want to use is tengo que irme. Tengo que irme means like I have to go. I have an appointment. I have to go somewhere. I have to be somewhere at some time. Tengo que irme. And it's something you'd say right away. When you first meet somebody, you're going to want to tell them your name. They're going to say, hey, ¿cómo te llamas? What's your name? And a lot of people tend to say the phrase, and I highlight it right here, me llamo es, but that's not right. And Brian's going to explain it to us in just a minute. And then I'll come back and explain to you why you don't say that. So here it is.
Hola. Me llamo es Brian. Let's see. Nosotros queremos ir con ustedes.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But actually, when you said me llamo es Brian, you don't need the ace. Just me llamo Brian.
Oh, you speak English?
No, just that first speech and this one explaining it.
You're kidding, right?
¿Qué?
So the reason that you can't say me llamo es is that literally me llamo means I call myself. This is I call, this is myself. So you would be saying I call myself is Brian, and that's not going to work. So don't use me llamo es. It's just me llamo Brian. Some other words you guys might want to use. Soy means I am. So you could, instead of saying me llamo Señor Nemo, you could say soy Señor Nemo. When you want to say it's nice to meet you, you can say the phrase mucho gusto, or you can say encantado. This little symbol right here looks sort of like an O, and it also sort of looks like an A. I do this because this word can change. If you're a man or a boy, you can say encantado. That means I'm enchanted to meet you. But if you're a girl, you're going to say encantada with an A, and that means still enchanted to meet you. So this little symbol right here can be an O or an A. For boys, encantado. For girls, encantada, an A. Now, if somebody says it's nice to meet you, you could respond with igualmente or equally. If you happen to be with another friend, and that friend is a boy, you could say este es mi amigo. If you happen to be with another friend and it's a girl, instead of this E, you'd say esta es mi amiga. So you might see it written like this or this. Either way, it depends if you're a man or a woman, or if your friend in this case is a man or a woman. If you want to introduce them, you'd say se llama. Their name is se llama Brian, se llama Meg. But make sure you're not saying se llama es, because that would be wrong. During class, if you need to go somewhere, you can say necesito. So, for example, necesito tomar agua, I need to get a drink. Necesito usar el baño, I need to go to the bathroom. This is something we covered a little bit earlier, but nonetheless, these are important phrases in my classroom. If you have a question, this is a very important one. Tengo una pregunta, just raise your hand up and say, tengo una pregunta. If I happen to call on you and you don't know the answer, the best thing you can say is no sé. And if you want to tell me that you don't understand, it's no entiendo. I want to cover really quickly. Let's see. Okay, cool. So we've got colors here, and these are color coordinated. If you can't see colors, I'll go through it with you quickly. It says rojo, which is red, anaranjado, which is orange, amarillo, Y sound, amarillo, yellow, verde is green, rosa is pink, violeta, or also morada, people say, is purple. Café is brown, and there are some other words for brown too, pardo, and you can also say like marron, that would work too, but I'm going to use de color café or café, which means like coffee colored. Black is negro, gray is gris, blue is azul, or like a Spaniard would say it, azul, and then lastly, blanco means white. Somebody might eventually ask you, hey, where are you from? And you're going to say the phrase soy de. So for example, for me, I'd say yo soy de Madison, Wisconsin. For many of you, you'd say soy de Franklin, Wisconsin. So somebody says, ¿de dónde eres? Soy de Franklin. And I'm going to have a separate video for this, which is about emotions. So if you want to take some notes on this, please do. If you want to review the video, please do that as well.